you can make a $25,000 movie and you're like, well, it's not good. But yeah, it's a great $25,000 movie. I digress. But sometimes I get a little too defensive over movies when I think they're not getting the respect they deserve. And so, I mean, is that kind of the way you're feeling? Like, it's not a great, I hate saying that. It's not a great movie. It's Deep Blue Sea 2. So that's such like a stock statement to say, but I don't, do you feel that way at all? Like, cause I get that way about a lot of movies.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to grade on a curve, more or less, but like, to me, as a sequel to Deep Blue Sea, it's obviously not as good because, again, we've talked about budget. I think it could have gone deeper with the story. We talked about that in a few different ways, how they could have made it better. But I think they did a pretty good job, and I think it serves as an excellent bridge to the next movie. I think as a standalone shark movie, too, like, it's fine. Like, I can think of much worse shark movies than this. Like, this one, to me, is in the arena of, like, a Bait, maybe, where it's like there is too much going on with this enormous cast, but there's some really good moments. Bait's better, but, like, it's fine. But I think
I love Bait.
Yeah,
so
Bait,
good, right?
Yeah, like, anyways, I
But you're right, you have the car part, you have the car part, and then you have the different dynamics with, like, the exes.
Yeah.
And you have the jerk guy. There's a lot of characters in Bait.
There's a lot in Bait. It's like a moralistic thriller that's like marketed as like a fun Sharknado. It's very weird. But like, for me, what I get from this movie and what I like about movies and why I don't like things like The Meg and Sharknado as well is because to me there's intention behind this. And I think I probably spoke about that a lot with Deep Blue Sea is that, you know, Renny Harlin went in, he wanted to make his big flashy blockbuster horror movie, and he did that. And for me, I get the same vibes from the director here, where like he knew he was constrained and he knew it was going to be this like Sisyphean task to make this movie, but he went in with his intention and he had fun and he tried hard. And to me, that comes across in this movie. You know, we talked about he used the plastic models when he could. He didn't use as much CGI. Like, I like that they used the boiling water to show the baby sharks as opposed to just like the same CGI shot over and over and over again. And, you know, with the different color corridors, like he tried to put different things in this movie. And to me, that's important. And Bates like that too. You know, he tried to do as much in-camera work as possible. And that's great. Like, that's what I like in these movies is the sort of like visceral thing as opposed to like cheap thrills, like what happens in The Meg and a Sharknado. So
yeah, I'm so glad you said that about The Meg. I'm not the biggest Meg fan.
Yeah, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I hate The Meg so much, guys. So.
It had so much potential. It had such a great cast. It's got a couple of decent moments, but it's disappointing.
That movie to me is soulless. It's made by people who just want to cash in, which they did. They don't understand why people like shark movies and things like that. Whereas, like, Darren Scott isn't a horror person, but you spoke about the cinematographer sort of understanding horror, and I think that's why we get these glimpses that we talk about loving the arm scene, the shower scene again, which you guys will speak about in a future episode, I think is really great. It's really haunting. And, like, I think that's why those moments come across. So, it's like, yeah, you can bash Deep Blue Sea. You know, we've been bashing it. There are some weird things. You know, the dialogue can be really stilted. I think sometimes Michael Beach is a little too much, but that's fine too.
No, he is perfect.
He's great. You know, who doesn't like Michael Beach? And like, I really like Misty Calhoun. The name is insane, but she's great. So there are things to mock, and but I feel like we're coming from it from a place of like respect and liking it, as opposed to like, I feel like a lot of people watch this movie already deciding what it is. Yeah.
And that's too easy. It really is.
It's so boring. Like, take some nootropics, use your brain, and think about it in a different way.
Go limitless. I do think, I gotta say though, I love that you brought up the Misty Calhoun changing into a wetsuit scene because they didn't focus on it and she was doing it in front of everybody and nobody was looking.
Nope.
Yep.
So she just went, enough of this. So they're all chatting. She's in the background just putting on a wetsuit.
Yeah.
It makes me laugh. I love it.
Misty's all business. You know, this scene, she's all business. I also love, and I don't say this as being mean, but I love that she can never fully do up a shirt.
Oh, yeah.
And if I was her, I wouldn't either. But it's also like, it just makes me laugh where I'm like, I feel like she should be allowed to do up her wetsuit the entire
Well, that's it. We'll talk about it next week. Next week is the wetsuit scene, and she makes a point of where she stops the zip. So
Yeah.
it's like a button on the scene. Basically. Anyway, we'll get there
Like
next
her
week.
coat, yeah. And in previous scenes, her coat is never done up. But, like, that's fine.
And it's weird, too, because Carl Durant buttons up his Henleys all the way up.
All the way.
Which makes no sense to me. You never
No.
go full with a Henley, but then she can't zip up her.
You never
And
get full
again,
Henley.
he's part of Beefcake Island, so he should be popping that collar open. But
That's right. Yeah,
He
never
gets
go
intimidated.
full button.
yeah.
He feels like he feels inadequate, that he's not as beefcakey as he should be to be on Beefcake Island, and so he's buttoning up the Henley.
I mean, it's a pretty stiff competition on the island, I will say. So, poor Aaron and Josh, they tried.
Yeah.
They can't match with Mike, that's for sure.
Mm-mm. Well, yeah. Oh, Mike. He is a strange one. He's not really present in our scene too much, other than the crucial dropping of the shark. But he's a real throwaway character, in my opinion.
He has the greatest deleted scene in the. He has the
What is
best
it?
deleted scene I've ever seen.
It's the
in a
worst
movie.
deleted scene in the whole world.
Tell it, Jay. You got it.
Nothing. Okay, Mike is on the surface. He walks along. He fills with the generator. He walks away. That's the entirety. It's like 20 seconds long. I don't know why they filmed it. I don't know why they left it on the DVD. I don't know why this is like the third chapter we've talked about it now. I don't know. It's
a
worthless.
beautiful deleted scene. Beautiful.
Worthless.
Wait, real quick before we get out of here. I know we're going long, but real quick. This is one thing I forgot to ask. Is okay? So the camera, obviously, the camera when it's looking at Trent Slater when he's above, you want to keep that angle up so you can limit. Like you have a lot of limitations with set. You don't want to bring out green screen. You don't have a big set, so you shoot the camera up to get the sky. It keeps the budget down. It's cheap. I get it. That's why you do it. But is that the shark watching him?
From the sky.
Oh.
No, from the ground.
Oh, from
so
the
it's like the
I'm
camera's
sorry,
in the water looking up at him, so then we see the sky. You know what I mean?
Yes, the one from the water level. Yes, that is absolutely a shark watching him. Because we had the same thing back in the first film with the sharks watching Sam Jackson and Janice when they were on the dock. Just the camera's eye view from the water. Yeah, but the ones from the sea, from the air. I don't know, flying shark.
Yeah. Those are the piranhas from Piranhas 2. They're the flying ones, They're coming in to defend the super piranhas or whatever.
Yes. Adam Scott should have popped up in this movie on a jet ski.
That's what they would have found in the shark's mouth. It's stuck in here. It's Adam Scott on a jet ski.
Piranha's Adam Scott.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Okay, I think that'll do for this chapter. Kate, any final thoughts on this chapter of the film as a whole?
I think it shows the importance of backing up your work. Always put your research into the cloud, guys.
Yeah, don't wait for the system to go down before you try and back
Yeah,
up.
exactly. Don't wait until it's dire straits, But no, I really like this part of the movie. I think this is a great chapter. You should watch it, and you won't be disappointed. And yeah, I'm glad I got to talk about this scene.
Oh, we're glad you came back to talk about it with us.
You need to start your own show, Caitlin. You'd be great. You need to start your own show.
I'll stick to the blog for now. People can read my nonsense tangents on my blog. So
Well, where can people find that blog? What's the address? Throw it out.
I'm not very good at branding, so they can just find me on Medium right now. Just my name on Medium. You can get at me on Twitter, and that's where I write all about shark movies on my Sharkomito series, and potentially moving into a parallel series with that on some different creature feature movies. So we'll see if I actually do that. But yeah, I just wrote about the history of shark movies for Blue Demon because that movie was so horrible I didn't want to watch it. So, so yeah.
I want to hear your Deep Rising thoughts.
I've never seen Deep Rising.
Me neither.
I bought the Kino Lorber new Blu-ray with the new commentaries and interviews. It's wonderful. Steven Summers directed it. Big film. It was supposed to come out before all the boat movies, but then they went to Vancouver and the tank burst, and then it cost them more money to shoot in Vancouver than shoot in LA. That's why they went to Vancouver, to be cheap, and then the tank burst, that cost them. And then they hired a digital effects company that was like, yeah, we can do the job. Then a year later, they're like, we can't do the job. So then ILM had to come in, and then when they released the movie in '98, it was after Titanic, it was after Speed 2. So they were supposed to get it out earlier, and it would have been ahead of all the boat movies, but because of all the delays, it came out after all the boat movies, and it kind of sunk at the box office. But it's Treat Williams, Wes Studi, Jaimin Hunsu battling a sea beast aboard a cruise ship, and it's pretty neat.
Put it on my tab.
All right,
I think
cool.
it recently showed up on Disney Plus or the Stars section of it. I can't remember.
Yeah, I love it. It's good. It's Steven Sommers. He makes fun stuff. So.
Treat Williams is always really fun to watch. He always commits and really goes hard. So.
The Phantom.
Yeah.
Dude crushes that.
Okay. Well,
Jay?
One thing to get to before we finish. How deep and blue is this chapter? This chapter is 35% blue. It's the second bluest chapter so far. It is a very blue chapter. All of the scenes in the wet lab, they're lit from the unsettlingly blue light of the wet pool. I don't like how blue that is, but also the blue tanks, and all of Aaron's monitors are blue. And then you have quite a bit up on the surface as well, so it's quite a blue chapter. And depth-wise, it is our second deepest chapter so far, because Trent keeps on going back up to the surface. So my estimate...
Trent!
Yeah, he screws it all up.
He lets us down again.
Yeah, but I think if we were to look at the graph so far, this would be the deepest, bluest chapter so far, if you look at the combined average of deepest and bluest. So currently, chapter 5 is winning.
All right.
Yeah. Mark, do you have any more final thoughts on this chapter?
I just loved it. Makes me very happy.
Good.
Never go full Henley.
Never go full Henley. You can find this podcast, Deep Blue Sea the Podcast, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Deep Blue Sea Pod, or email us deepblueseapod@gmail.com. If you have any thoughts on the rest of the film, then please let us know, or anything you picked up on in previous chapters. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And you can find more of my writing over at lifevsfilm.com, Life vs Film. Follow me on Twitter at LifeVSFilm. Listen to the Lambcast. Every month I do a movie trivia episode on the Lambcast, which is always fun. And join the Lamb, the large association of movie blogs, largeassmovieblogs.com. If you have a movie blog and want to be part of a bigger community of like-minded people, then come join us at the Lamb. Mark, what have you got to plug?
Yeah, Movies, Films, and Flicks, Movies, Films on FLIX. You can go to the website, read the stuff, or you can go to the podcast. We were just number 3 in the Philippines. Whoop! Also, I have a couple articles coming out for Rotten Tomatoes about Super and Slither. James Gunn's films are going to have their 10th and 15th anniversary. Then I also did a Godzilla article for them about just looking at the tomato meter between Godzilla and King Kong. So you can read those, Mark Hoffmeyer, Rotten Tomatoes. Listen to the Rotten Tomatoes is Wrong podcast. Watch the Versus videos on YouTube or Peacock. And then go to Film Theorists. I have, 3 videos on the way, and I should have a Minions video released by the time this episode comes out. And then I got a couple really cool ones in the works. So type in Mark Hoffmeyer Film Theorist, and you can watch my videos there.
Excellent. Well, as for this chapter, I want to say thank you to Kate McNabb for joining us once again.
Thank you for having me.
And I've been Jake Lewitt.
And I'm Mark Hoffmeyer.
And we'll see you next week.